Preparing for winter storms isn't just about gathering supplies. It's not a set it and forget it kind of situation. It's also about practicing what to do if a storm hits. That's what we're going to chat about today. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness, and every now and then we toss in preparedness in general. If you've been with me for any length of time, then you've heard me say it's not a set it and forget it. And this isn't just for pantry preparedness. This is preparedness in general. Conducting winter preparedness drills, while it may sound a little hokey, okay, as a family, as a household, or just by yourself, it can sound kind of goofy, but it's a proactive and engaging way to ensure that everyone in the household, even if it's just you, okay, knows what to do and can react calmly and effectively when an emergency happens. From sheltering in place to setting up emergency heat, practicing alternative lighting solutions, right? These drills, they provide just a sense of security and readiness for anyone and everyone in the household. So today, we're going to talk about a guide that I created, essential winter preparedness drills that you can practice so that you can learn to stay safe and prepared for whatever winter throws your way. Because according to the weatherman, it's going to be a bumpy ride this year. Now, these are some key activities. I hope you'll take them to heart because they really do make a difference. It's like memory muscle, muscle memory. Muscle memory. There you go. It's like muscle memory. You just, when you do it a few times, then it becomes second nature to do it. Instead of going and buying all the gear and then the situation happens and you're like, where do I go? Where do I go? What do I do? No, we don't want to do that. That wastes time. That wastes energy and effort. And what we need to do is to be calm and go, oh, okay, yeah, power's out again. And just go on about doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we are secured during that particular issue. So we're going to start off with a sheltering in place drill. And that's just basically, you're not leaving your house, okay? You are staying put. And there's no place better in the world, where I'm concerned, when there's a major storm happening. So you want to practice setting up a designated room or a designated area for sheltering in place. Now, for a lot of people that, if you have a larger family, that could be the living room or the family room, the one place where everybody fits, there's enough room, and where you normally hang out as a family together. If it's just one person, pick a room, but most likely it'll be like the living room, You want to practice, once you've designated that room, bringing the supplies like blankets, water, snacks, and flashlights, those kinds of things. Have everyone practice gathering in this place quickly. So the power goes out, there's a major storm going on, and so automatically you get everyone to gather in that one place quickly. Now, ideally, they will have their kits. They will have the stuff that we're going to talk about as we move forward. But that is like the main drill. Okay, everything went sideways. There's a major storm. Living room. That's the place that we're going to pick. Pick the room that works best for you. That's the place that we're going to pick. That's where we start for our shelter in place drill. So you just want to practice getting to that room, making sure that you have what you need to withstand whatever, situation is coming your way. I'm not talking about end of the world stuff, okay? I'm talking about everyday life. I'm talking about snowstorms. I'm talking about power outages. I'm talking about, anything like that. That's what you're going to be practicing for. The most common situation that happens where you are. So if you are someplace that has tornadoes, then obviously the living room is not the place, okay? The basement is the place. And so that's the place that you'll practice. So you have to determine that one for you and yours and just practice that drill of, okay, the siren's going off, or okay, some signal has been set throughout the family. Now everybody practice getting to the designated spot. The next one is setting up emergency heating. Well, I bought a Mr. Buddy heater. Okay, but have you ever run it? Do you literally know how long one of those tanks lasts? Do you know how hot it gets? Or does it get hot enough? Or any number of things, So go through the steps of setting up safe emergency heating options. If you have a Mr. Buddy, it's probably a good thing to know that you're only going to run that puppy on high for about 3 hours, which one of our community members found out during Ice Mageddon in northern Michigan last year. She thought she had a lifetime supply of propane tanks, but yeah, it didn't last that long because they only last for 3 hours if you run it on high. Something to consider. You want to look at different heating options. So you want to look at, the propane or the indoor safe heaters. Review safety precautions. Ensure everyone knows how to handle it and all of the intricacies involved. So regardless of what's going on, make sure everybody in your household knows either how to get the wood stove going, how to get the Mr. Buddy going, how to get whatever you're using going, and how to keep it going and maintaining it safely so that everyone makes it out. Next is the alternative lighting drill. Turn off the lights. Now, that's pretty easy to do this time of year, seeing as how it gets dark at like 5:30. So turn off the lights. What can you do with your lighting options? Where are they? Can you find them with all the lights off? Oh, that's a key one right there, okay? So practice, number one, finding them. Number two, using them. So you want to practice using those flashlights, using those headlamps, using the candles, the battery-operated candles, or any other thing that you've got, the lanterns, any alternative light source that is safe, which is why I'm not a big fan of real candles. Yes, they're nice, they're pretty, I get it, okay, great. Yes, oil lamps are pretty, they're nice, okay, I get it, great. Are they always safe? Not always. And so depending on who and what's in your house and the circumstances going on, I like to go with the non-flammable options because I have this thing about fire. So you want to know where they are, you want to know how to get to them, you want to know how to operate them, and what you can expect to be able to do in the dark with them, That's a big one. Am I going to be able to sit down and read the dictionary with one of those candles? Not comfortably for a long time, but, there are other things that it does make life easier. Assign, if there's more than one person, assign each person in the household with a role, like you get the batteries, or you get the flashlights, or if it's just you, know where everything is and know how to get it in the dark. And how do you do that? You turn off all the lights and you try to find them in the dark. Next is a family communication plan, which honestly, in a larger family, more than one person, it's a must-do kind of thing. But even for the person that is on their own, it's still a good thing to put into place for reaching people outside. Make sure everyone knows the communication plan, including how to reach each other if separated. So if you have family that lives, outside of your home, make sure that there's a plan in place on how you can reach each other should something happen. Include not only how to reach each other when separated, but practice using these different items, like if it's walkie-talkies, if it's GMRS, if it's a ham radio. There are a number of things out there. Backup cell phone chargers. Okay, make sure everyone's got them and make sure everyone's got them charged. Super important. The next one is always so much fun. Your backup power outage cooking drill. All the power's out, all the lights are out, all the stuff's out. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to eat? Okay, peanut butter gets old after a little bit, but in an emergency, it's just fine. It's not a big deal. But if you want something a little bit more, practice using your camp stove, your fondue pot, or whatever else, you're thinking of using in said emergency. Think wintertime because, well, it's wintertime. So you want to think about the colder weather. You want to think about the not so great conditions outside. And so the grill, maybe not, but practice how to do the things that you can do inside. And practice doing them in the dark if you want to add a little extra twist to it, okay? If there's more than one of you, then have everybody practice their part. Like you're in charge of grabbing the water. You're in charge of making sure that everyone has something to eat off of or with. You're in charge of helping to prepare the meal. Divide it, make everybody own part of the process, and it will make it a lot less stressful for everyone because not one person has to handle everything. Now, if you are living by yourself and you are that one person who has to handle everything, the good news is you're not cooking for 20 people, okay? But it's still a good idea to practice using this equipment. Practice using your fondue pot to heat up a meal. Practice using your, camp burner to heat up a meal. To find where everything is. Do you know where everything is? If you're not going to use your actual dishes, but you're going to use paper and plastic and whatever, then do you know where they're kept if they're not in your kitchen? You have to actually get in there and do it and try it so that you're not trying to learn something during an emergency situation. If you're anything like me, and I get it, not everybody is, but we have a water conservation practice because we are on a well, and we rarely kick on our generator when the power goes out. It's really just not a first thought. The first thought is lock everything down, make sure everything's safe and secured, and we'll take a look at it from there. So in the wintertime, I am super not concerned because it's cold, which means I'm not so concerned about the stuff in my refrigerator or my freezer going bad because I can always take it out, put it in coolers, and put it outside, and it's perfectly good. But without the generator, I can't use my water because I have a pump with a well. Water conservation is super important pretty much all the time, but it's definitely important when you are in an emergency situation, okay? So teach everyone how to conserve water if, say, the pipes freeze, okay? Or water access is limited. These are the things you have to take into consideration. If those pipes freeze, that's a whole nother game, my friends. So you have to make sure that you've got backup water, that you've got non-potable water, that you can help take care of different things, and all of the things that are applicable for you and your situation where you live, as far as if the pipes freeze. What do you have to do? What do you have to be aware of? What do you need to be watching in case something horrible happens, like they burst? So definitely take time to go over different methods like using the stored water, okay, rationing and recycling melted snow if it's safe. That's another option that you can do. It's a good practice to get used to because it's not first nature for a lot of people, and you want it to become first nature when this kind of situation kicks in. Now, this one is especially fun if there's kids involved, okay? And that's probably my go-to, but somebody brought it to my attention that I also need to focus on some of our older folks. So we're going to give you two scenarios here. So an emergency blanket fort setup, okay? Young kids love this. Grab blankets, create a fort, go underneath the dining room table, or, create a fort out of the ottoman and the couch and everything else. Forts are fun, and I don't care how old you are, as long as you can get down into them. You know what I mean? So as a family activity, set up a blanket fort or a small insulated area to practice staying warm. Say you've got a pup tent, you can put up in the middle of the living room. Awesome. It's great. And again, the kids think it's phenomenal. Turn a iffy experience into, oh, I can't wait till this happens again. You know what I mean? That's the fun part. But it can be literally a lifesaver when you're looking at extreme cold. Now, it was brought to my attention, well, what do you do with senior citizens who may not be able to get down on the floor? And if they do get down on the floor, they might not be able to get back up again. They don't think it's as much fun to build a fort, That's okay. Because even the tent situation at that point comes into play. Now, if you've got a king-size bed or a queen-size bed, it's easier, but I do believe you can find them for a full or a twin also. They have those instant little pup tents, and you can actually put them together on your bed. Do you have to stake them down? No, you also don't have to stake them down to your carpet. They pop up, they're super easy to assemble and thus disassemble. And they create that shelter wherever you need it. So my suggestion would be to find one of these tents. I'll try to put some links down below in the description box. If you're on the TV, you'll need to go to your phone or whatever device that you would be able to see the links with. But I'll try to find some links for some ones that will fit on top of a bed, because I'm too old to sleep on the floor, so I get it, you know. But if you put it on your bed, then you've got that shelter, you've got that tent that keeps the heat in and makes it possible for you to be comfortable during an emergency situation. The window and door insulation drill. There's a lot of drills going on here, but that's okay because once you get everyone together with that first one, that shelter in place drill, and then you can set into motion all the other ones, this is fantastic. Okay, so winter and door insulation, something you want to consider. You want to create a drill for it. You want to get everybody used to doing it and what goes where. Okay, practice blocking drafts with towels, plastic wrap, or foam. That's like a last case scenario, especially around windows and doors, to learn quick ways to insulate. You want to be able to do it quickly. So I don't recommend foam unless it's like a serious outage like they had, you know, in Ice-Mageddon. But otherwise, our furnace hasn't kicked on once yet. And I only put wood in the wood burner like twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. And it's not a whole bunch, but it's enough to keep it at a nice steady temperature. So once you get that nice steady temperature built up, you want to find a way to insulate so that it doesn't leave, so that it doesn't escape through the doors and the windows. Now, the foam comes in handy when you're looking at something like Ice-Mageddon. Otherwise, look at towels, look at curtains, look at blankets. Hang anything that you can over those curtain rods to block some of the draft. It will make a night and day difference on how warm it stays in your house. While it's all about sheltering in place, you actually do need to create an evacuation route. Okay, so you want to do an evacuation route practice. Go over the plan for evacuation if necessary due to extreme weather. You want to have that plan in place. Even though the initial plan is a shelter in place, you need to have that backup plan in case something goes wrong to where you can evacuate, okay? Familiarize everyone and or yourself with where supplies are stored and the routes that you're going to take. You need to know, and so does everybody else, where your go bags are, where the important stuff is that you're going to take with you when you evacuate, because it happens like that, and it's not something you can sit around, have a cup of coffee, and mull over. It's something where you need to act quickly, grab your stuff, and go. And the only way that's going to happen efficiently is if you practice it. This one is so much fun, okay? Reviewing first aid kit, go through it, make sure everything's okay, and emergency supplies, because it's not a set it and forget it. Just because you bought that epic trauma kit does not mean that it just sits there collecting dust. You have to go through it. On occasion, you have to go through it, make sure everything's fine, make sure you got everything you think you need, or that everything you've added to it is holding up, okay? So review the contents of your first aid kit, extra medications, winter-specific items like lip balm or hand warmers, ensuring that everybody knows where they are, making sure that you have enough. Those are important. I don't know about you. Everywhere I go, I've got lip balm. I'm about to make myself a bulk purchase here because I keep accidentally washing them. But that's a whole nother story, okay? Make sure that everybody knows where the first aid kit is. Make sure that there are supplies in there for everybody in case of an emergency. Now, we already did, daylight savings time. So I'm hoping everybody's done this already. But if you haven't, please take time to test your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Test them. Change the batteries if you need to change the batteries. Or if you haven't done it yet, definitely do it. Even if it keeps acting like your alarm for cooking, okay? It's just one of those amazing things you have to deal with. Make sure the batteries work. Make sure that it works. Ensuring that the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are working, and explain it to anybody else that might be in the household, right? The importance of these alarms, especially when using emergency heating sources. That's when they're imperative. We had our furnace go out because we got a very large, unexpected overnight snowfall that covered the exhaust pipe for our furnace on the roof. We had no idea. We had literally no idea, okay? And we didn't know until the furnace didn't kick on. And it actually put out our flame. Now, it's got things in place so that, there was no issue. But that could be an issue depending on how old your furnace is, what your system looks like, that kind of thing. These are things that you need to pay attention to, and having those smoke detectors and those carbon monoxide detectors is literally life-saving. Make sure they're working. Now, if you want to party hardy with everybody in the family and give these a good try, every quarter have a simulated power outage evening. Come on, everybody, it's family time, but it's not a bad idea. And it doesn't have to be an all-night thing. If you're a grown adult, you just want to make sure that the other adult or adults, in the household are on board and everybody knows where everything is. It can last literally an hour. But if there's little kids involved, you could do this whole thing. It could be a little part. It's an event, my friends, and they will love it, okay? Practice an evening without power by turning off the lights, the electronics, and the heating. Yes. Using only your emergency supplies. This simulates a real power outage and helps identify any gaps in preparedness. This is how you find out what you're missing before it becomes a significant problem. So I put together this list to equip families or individuals, okay, with hands-on practical skills for winter safety. Remember, stuff is great, but skills are what's going to save your butt. So it definitely makes it reassuring when you've done it a time or two and you find those gaps, those issues where, yes, I have flashlights. Do I know where they are? No. Do they have working batteries? I don't know. Can I find them in the dark? Oh, no, I can't. You need to figure these things out. And you may think that you know, but if you turn off all the lights, can you get to them? That's the key. So you want to make sure that, you've got all your ducks in a row because winter's coming. And it sounds like she's going to be a little cranky this year. Let me know if there are any additional elements that you would like, that you would suggest in the comments section down below, because the comment section of these videos is epic. You guys are amazing. And I just know you've got some ideas that I may have missed, okay? Until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.